सत्संग जी प्रेम से कहना। सिंह से बदलाव। The times that we are living in, there's so much progress that man has made, we as a society have made. There's so much that has been achieved that we take immense pride in being the most advanced species, the most advanced creation, the most rational creation. Because as humans, we take pride in our rationality. We take pride in our ability to reason. We take pride in our ability to solve problems. And that is how we have come so far, the progress that we have made, the wealth that is being created, especially here in the West, by finding a problem and finding a solution to it and creating a startup, getting funding, getting investments, and multiplying our own wealth and the wealth of our investors. Finding a problem and finding an answer to it. The ability to solve problems. And that's where we take our pride in, because we are rational. We are logical beings. And this belief has led us to come to a point where, without questioning something, without asking why, without having the requisite answers, we refuse to believe, we refuse to take another opinion into account. But when we closely look at the rationality that we are so proud of, when we closely see how our logical brain, our logical mind works, I think our opinions will change. The pride that we take in this so-called rationality, the rationality which has filled my cup. We heard today about the story, about the Zen story, where a seeker goes to the master with the cup already full, and the master, just to show the seeker that he's come with his rationality to him, keeps on pouring more tea in a cup which is already filled with tea, and it starts spilling over. That is the rationality that is filling our cups. And let's take a closer look at our rationality that we are proud of. Growing up or seeing kids, and I'm sure that I as a kid must have done this, I've seen so many times when a kid falls on the floor, falls while playing, falls while running around, and starts crying. What we do to make him calm, make her calm, is we say, oh, the floor has hurt you, let's hit the floor. Ye dekho, see, I'm hitting the floor. This floor hurt you? Come on, you go on, hit the floor now. Hit it hard. See, now we have taught the floor a lesson. And the kids run around happy again, smiling again. And that is the first evidence of the so-called rationality. We don't care about who is actually getting hurt by hitting that floor. The kid is happy hitting the floor, hitting the table, hitting whatever, has apparently hurt him. He's happy hurting it as long as he's getting his revenge on it, not caring about, I might hurt myself further in that process. I would hurt my hand, I would hurt my foot, whatever I'm using to hit the culprit, the floor, the table, whatever. I don't realize in that moment that I fell because probably I was careless. I fell because I was looking somewhere else and running somewhere else. I was not looking at what's in front of me. But that's the first example that I would like to take to show how our rationality works. This is how rational we are. And when we grow up, someone's hurt me. Rather than forgetting about it, moving on, I want to do something odd to get even with them. Not realizing that by taking that odd step, by taking that so-called revenge, I'm just doubling the hurt that is there, that is existing. The hurt that I was experiencing is now being doubled by me. There again, where's my rationality? I go on choosing wars over peace. I go on choosing tensions over peace. I go on choosing to fight rather than loving. This is how rational the most advanced species is. This is how rational we are. Another thing, so often it happens that so many people have shared that they've shared their experiences, that I've got anger issues. I get angry. And then what happens? And then I feel bad. I feel pathetic about my own behavior. And then what happens? I want to get rid of this anger. I don't want to be angry again. And I've taken an oath, I won't get angry. And 99 out of 100 times, the oath breaks within the next few hours. Rationality. We know that anger has never done me good. That anger has only brought resentment, only brought guilt, only brought an oath, led me to a point where I am feeling worse than I was before I got angry. But within a matter of few hours, my so-called rationality is down the drain, and I am repeating the same mistake again, repeating the same behavior again. And this reminds me of an instance that I read about, that there was a man sitting in a bar, a sports bar, and he was feeling very low, dejected, down and out. And his friends, they came to join him, and they asked, "What is wrong? You're the life of the group, and you're just dejected." He said, I just lost a lot of money on the match that was on. I placed my bets and I lost my money. They say, all right, it's okay, you should probably do something about this habit of yours of gambling. But okay, so it's our treat then, you've lost your money, that's okay, if that can be any consolation. And the days goes by, and in the night they meet again, same spot, and the man is sitting, the one who lost his money in the morning, and he's dejected again, down and out. His condition, his state of mind is worse than what it was in the morning. And the friends ask, when they meet up for dinner. What went wrong? How could your day possibly get worse than what it was in the morning? You lost so much money. He said, I placed my bets again on the highlights, on the repeat telecast. I thought I might just recover that money, but I placed my bets on the repeat telecast. And they're calling him a fool, laughing at him, like we all did. But we place our bets on the repeat telecast every day. Every day, I'm losing my peace by doing something, and I'm repeating that every day, probably multiple times a day, placing my bets on the repeat telecast of my own deeds and of so many examples, so many lives that I get to see around myself, seeing that anger has never served me, it hasn't served anyone else. But I would still go on being angry, showing that, and then being resentful, being guilty for a few hours, for a few days, and then placing my bets on the repeat telecast. This is how rational I am. This is how rational we are. And if we can just wake up and look at the rationality, our so-called rationality, wake up and see what have we filled our cups with, then it wouldn't take a reminder, it wouldn't take someone else to tell me to empty that cup. When I see that that cup, what is being filled in it, the cup that I'm carrying filled to the brim, is nothing but this so-called rationality, so-called pride, so-called the idea of myself that actually is of no value. And this moment of realization only can come when we wake up. It is said that man is in a deep slumber, so deep that man doesn't realize what he's doing, what he has been doing. And these couple of examples of our so-called rationality prove the point that we are in a deep slumber, placing our bets on the repeat telecast. COVID-19, 5 years back, the world was hit by COVID-19. And those 2 years, the entire world was talking about how our perspective of life has changed, how we know what is of value. There's no point of this material world. We are never going to be the same again. We have realized what life truly is worth. There's nothing that is worth our peace of mind. There's nothing that is worth our relationships and everything. So many epiphanies, so many realizations, so many words of wisdom. And it's not even been 5 years, and probably humanity is seeing things that are worse than they were before this pandemic hit. Again, placing our bets on the repeat telecast. Man goes on, sees someone that he loved, someone that she loved, complete their journey, complete their journey in this human body. And for a moment or for a few days, he or she realizes that, I am also a mortal. I need to wake up to this realization. But probably by the time they're back home from the funeral, they are already living again like they are immortals. This is how rational we as humans are. We heard an analogy today about how the the big wave, the small wave, the bubble, their substance, their content is water itself. And then there was this message that was given that today is the opportunity to realize what our content is, who we really are. But to know who we really are, we first need to understand and realize that who do I think I am? My self that I think that this is me, this rational being. I need to wake up and see what my rationality really is, what I have filled my cup with, and I'm wearing it as a badge of honor, as a feather in my cap. And the moment I realize this mistake of mine, that okay, I have been placing my bets on the repeat telecast, I would myself laugh at my own stupidity, like the friends laughed at that man who plays his bets on the repeat telecast. And then, in that moment, I would be willing to know that if my cup was all this while filled with something that is just plain stupid, that is of no value, the rationality I was taking pride in is actually not rational, to be honest, then who really am I? What really I should be seeking? Waking up to this realization, the belief that I've made around my identity, that this is who I am, this is who I am, this is who I am, and realizing that every label that I have been carrying, every stamp that I have put on myself, which is adding some value, is actually taking me far, far away from who really am I. There was this words of encouragement to go and find your true self, see who you really are. But I would make a humble request and say that before we take that step of seeing who we really are, we need to realize and see that what have we filled our cups with, so that it's easier to empty it. Once we see it's not filled with something important, not filled with something of value, but I'm just carrying around which has no value. I'm carrying around stupidity in the name of rationality, then it's easier to empty it. And in the times of Lord Buddha, when someone used to come to him to seek nirvana, to seek his discipleship, what he used to do was he used to send them to a cremation ground. And he used to tell them that before you come to me, just live there for some time, so that every day you will see someone completing their journey, their loved ones, bringing them to that cremation ground, burning their bodies and forgetting about them. You will see this day in and day out, and then come to me. Maybe then I could offer you something. Maybe then what I have may be of some use to you, because this will only make it easy for you to let go of the pride, let go of this false identity that you think you are. And this realization is a prerequisite to be able to attain what we are saying is God knowledge. What we are saying is the answer to who am I, what we call enlightenment, what we call salvation, what we call nirvana. Before we achieve that state, The first step is to let go of everything that we feel we are. But it's not easy, because we think that who we are and the things that we take pride in are of so much value that how can we let them go? The cup we feel is filled with nectar. How can we let go of this nectar? But when you wake up and see, take a sip of that nectar, you would realize that it's not nectar. It's almost a poison that I'm carrying in that cup, carrying around with so much pride, not willing to empty it so that true nectar could be filled in it. Nobody else can snatch your cup and empty it for you, because we'll go on again and fill it with more poison. The realization needs to come. The cup needs to be emptied before what Satguru has can be poured in it, before true nectar can flow in it and pour in it. And this is why saints, sages, no matter what the time was, whichever era was it, everyone gave this message that wake up. Rise and awake, Swami Vivekananda said. Buddha said, live your life with your eyes open. Today, Her Holiness is giving this message to mankind. We need to wake up and see, what are we doing? What our cup is filled with. And the moment I wake up and see that I'm carrying around poison in this cup, no one will need to tell me to empty it. I will do it myself. Because nobody wants to carry poison in a cup. And when they will know that this cup can be filled with nectar, with something so pious, so pure, so blissful, something of real value, it would be almost like saying that I have both my hands filled with stones and I am holding them so tightly, and someone is offering me gold, and I am saying that no, my hands are already full with stones. I'm carrying pebbles around and I don't want to let them go. How will I hold on to that gold if my fists are clenched holding those pebbles? I will need to understand that the pebbles that I'm carrying are of no value. And when someone realizes that, someone who knows the value of gold, and someone who knows that pebbles don't stand in front of gold in value or in any comparison, no one will need to tell them to throw the stones away and take the gold in their hands. This is what realization is. This is what wisdom is. This is what spirituality is. And this is the first step towards enlightenment, towards jeevan mukti, towards nirvana. And every human has the potential to attain this state. Every human has been blessed with divinity. And to attain this divinity is the ultimate favor that we can do to ourselves. So let us wake up and see what our cups are filled with. And maybe next time nobody would need to tell you to empty it. Saints say with love, Nirankar.